The second week will be very different, but also very new and interesting. On Tuesday, we're going to have program from London to Leipzig. It is a program of Baroque music of very famous Baroque composers, Handel, Telemann, and Johann Sebastian Bach. The soloist for this program will be Kathy Patt, who will also sing one of the Bach's cantatas. But what is new is the introduction of new conductor who used to study with me conducting at Northwestern. And now he is director of conducting an opera at Boston Conservatory. And also he is director of Minnesota Bach Ensemble, a small Baroque group which performs in Minneapolis. And his name is Andrew Altenbach. So I'm very much looking forward to revisit him from his school years here at Northwestern. There is very little I should tell you about this program because this program is literally consists of greatest jewels of Baroque era. And this music is so popular and so wonderful, it does not really need any explanation. And well, as for me personally, I'm going to have 2 days rest. And then we will jump into the Thursday program, which dedicated to Russian music. So here I'm going to ask my new emerging conductor, Christopher, to conduct another piece. And if I'm not mistaken, the piece called In the Steppes of Central Asia by Alexander Borodin. Have you cut across this piece ever before?
I performed it once.
You did?
A while ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it did not scare you at all?
No.
No.
I'm looking forward to getting reacquainted with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
very well. And we started already describing the opening item, which is a short, very delicate, beautiful piece by Alexander Borodin. It's called In the Steppes of Central Asia. The next piece will be first performance at the Peninsula Music Festival. It's called Symphony No. 1 by Alexander Scriabin. This piece exists in 2 versions, one in 5 movements, strictly orchestral version, and another one in 6 movements with an additional 6th movement written for soprano, tenor, and choir, with words composed by Alexander Scriabin himself. That particular movement does not really fit very well with the rest of the symphony, and it has a very noble but naive message that arts could save humanity and the world. And so the hymn to arts is the whole reason for this choral movement, which is only 6 minutes long. But in order for us to put it on, we would need to go through really great pains, because first of all, we don't have full choir there. We don't have soloists who would speak Russian. We don't have coaches to coach them how to do this all in Russian. And I've chosen the alternate way to conduct Symphony No. 1 in its original version in 5 movements. And I believe that public will love this music very much, because we know very well how extraordinarily talented was young Alexander Scriabin. Anyway, so his first symphony in 5 movements is absolutely glorious. All those 5 movements are in a way a little vignettes. They're not really long. They're not extraordinarily long. But each of them has the most beautiful character describing 2 main characteristics of temperament of Scriabin. On one hand, he was not only temperamental but ecstatic. So he was temperamental to the extreme. Ecstatic, the ecstasy of his temperament. So he did not really run in his life. He jumped and flew to the stars. That's his temperament. On the other hand, he was also lyrical, but not just lyrical. He was ecstatically lyrical. Therefore, his lyricism is also to the extreme of so I don't think he saw the subject of his love as a human character, but mostly like a fairy queen. He was in love with a fairy queen. And because of that, his harmonies are also more extreme. There are much more alternative harmonies which are not sweet but triple, quadruple sweet harmonies. Not 1 spoon of sugar, but 10 spoons of sugar. See, that is a Scriabin. However, as a young boy, he was diligently studying how to write scores for the orchestra, and the result of it is that the first symphony of young composer is written in a very normal way of late Romantic symphony. Okay, so the orchestra very similar to symphonies of Tchaikovsky, especially first, second, and third symphony. It is a standard. The harmonies, tunes, rhythms, as I said, they are not running, they're jumping and flying high. Okay? Anyway, so, and for the sweetness, instead of giving your partner a chocolate, I think he gives his partner snowflake. You see? Snowflakes as a sweetness. Anyway, I really love this piece. Now, after intermission, we are going to invite for the first time another young emerging violinist. Her name is Tessa Lark. It will be her debut with our festival, and she will perform violin concerto by Tchaikovsky. I never worked with Tessa before. I only knew of her, recommended by managers, and I've seen some of the videos, and I'm very impressed with her playing and her stage appearance, presence, and the combination of very high level violinistic virtuoso technique and her musical taste. So I'm very much looking forward to introduce this young talent to our public on that Thursday night. Now we're moving on to another concert of our travels with music. And this concert is going to be back to Vienna. This time with music of Joseph Haydn and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Here we also have a soloist who has been with us before and very well known and loved by our public. His name is Andrew Armstrong, who played various concertos and chamber music and solo recitals in Door County. This time he is going to play concerto by Mozart in A major. So the whole program is equally divided between those two giants of early classical music, Haydn and Mozart. So here we're going to start with Symphony number 39 in G minor by Haydn. The specialty of this symphony is, first of all, the key, which is most unusual for classical composers to write symphony in G minor. But second specialty is usage of 4 French horns. So that will be our first item, following by Mozart Concerto, Köchel number 414, that's what I was going to say, with Andrew Armstrong. In the second half of the concert, we will perform Serenade by Joseph Haydn with 2 solo instruments, flute and oboe, which will be played by Susanna Self and Eric Olson. And then we will perform Mozart's symphony in G minor, also with 4 horns. And so this is such an interesting project to have Mozart and Haydn both written G minor symphonies, both from the same period, from the same city, but entirely different music. By the way, this particular G minor symphony of Mozart is not his latest famous G minor symphony number 40, which we actually done last year. This one is number 25, but it's still absolutely miracle, beautiful piece of music. I think of it as an utterly romantic symphony of classical composer. So go figure. I'm looking forward to that too. Anyway, I think the time has come for us to move on to week number 3.